Hello and welcome back to another video. It's going to be a really simple video when it comes to what you'll need, because hopefully if you're watching this video you already have these things. First thing, you're going to need, of course, your iPhone. That is running anything between iOS 11 to 13. Anything in there will work. And the second thing is an internet connection, so Wi-Fi. As long as you have those two things, you're good. You should be able to follow this tutorial with no problems. Today we'll be learning about how to set up your iPhone. As long as it's running anywhere between iOS 11 to iOS 13, it'll work. Today we'll be working with an iPhone 7. I'm not really going to go through the unboxing. There's not much in here. Just a used iPhone 7. That's that. Let's power this on. Once you've gotten to this screen, after you've powered on your phone, just going to press the home button. It'll bring you to here. You're going to pick your language. Since you're watching my video, I'm assuming you speak English. Whatever, then you would, the next one, you pick a country that you're in. Now there's two ways of doing this. The first one I'm going to go over is set up manually. The other one would be quick start, which it says in here, but basically if you have another phone running iOS 11 or newer, you would bring it near and there would be a pop-up on your phone. It would ask you, would you like to set it up? You'd hit yes. It's pretty straightforward. We'll go over that later. But for now, we're going to hit setup manually. You can either do connect to PC or Mac or choose a Wi-Fi network. I'm just going to choose a Wi-Fi network. I'm going to pull up my other phone. Sorry for the banging noises. There's a bit of renovation happening in the next room over. So we're just going to type in the password. From here, it'll load. Hopefully it connects if you've gotten your Wi-Fi network password correct. It'll give you a little check mark. You'll say at the top you have 3 bars or however many bars you have in your home. Just going to hit next. Bring it to here. It'll say it may take a few minutes to activate your phone. Just kind of let it sit. You won't have to do anything. You just let it load. It'll do all the work. Okay. Data and privacy. You can read through this if you want. I don't. I've read through it once and that's about it. We're just going to hit continue or learn more. If you really want to learn more about how your data and your privacy is being handled, you can hit learn more. If you don't want to learn more, we'll just hit continue. You can set up your Touch ID. I'm not going to do that now. Hit set up later if you don't want to set up Touch ID right now, or if you don't want to set it up at all. Or if you do want to set it up, you just hit continue and it'll go through the process of setting up Touch ID. It'll walk you through those steps. It's very simple. So we're just going to hit set up later. Pop up, use Touch ID, don't use. We don't want to use it. Create a password. I'm just going to go 111111. So that's where you just type in your password. It'll ask you to re-enter it. And then once you get to here, if you've had a backup on either a computer or in your iCloud, or you want to move data from, say, an Android phone or another iPhone, you can do that. I don't have any apps or data I want to transfer. I just want to set this up as a new phone. So if you want to set it up as a new phone, you hit don't transfer apps and data. If you do have a backup in iCloud, you'd hit restore from iCloud backup. If you have a backup from your Mac or your PC and say iTunes, you hit restore. It's pretty straightforward. You pick the one that you want to go through. We're going to hit don't transfer any data or apps. Here we are going to type in the Apple ID that we want to use. So here you would type in the email for it that you want. So we're just going to type in the email that is linked to your iCloud. So it's either going to be an @iCloud.com if you didn't have an email prior to setting up your iCloud, or it'll be whatever other email you used when you set it up. So in this case, it's a Gmail. I'm going to blur out the email so I don't give away any of the credentials. Once you've typed in your email, you're just going to hit the next button. It'll load. It'll verify whether that is a correct iCloud. Just let it load. If you're setting up your phone and you didn't have an iCloud, or you forgot the password, you would hit forgot password or don't have an Apple ID. You would hit that, and it would help you either get the password or set it up without an iCloud. We're not going to do that this time because we have an iCloud, and it's a pain in the butt to use any Apple products that you don't have an iCloud linked to, because you can't download apps, movies, any of it. You have to get all your data from the computer, and they took out the support of adding apps through your computer, so you can't do that. So I highly recommend putting in an iCloud when you set it up, or right after you set it up. Now that we've gotten to this page, it's loaded, it's verified that this is an iCloud. You would type in the password, which I will blur out. Once you're there, go to here. Apple uses two-factor authentication. So here you could set up two-factor authentication. I don't want to. I highly recommend you do set up two-factor authentication, whether it be in this stage if you haven't, or whether it's later. In this case, I don't want to set it up. Yes, agree. You can read through those. Those are the terms and conditions of use of your iPhone. I don't know how fast of a reader you are, but that's something you can do. You can read through them, get a better idea of how your data and your security and how you should be using your phone. If you're that kind of person who likes to read through them, by all means, do it. Keep your iPhone up to date. Yes. So this is one of the settings that not a lot of people have on. But yes, I highly recommend you have this setting on. It will, as it says, keep your iPhone up to date. So when a new software comes out for your phone, it will try and download it and install it every night. The only thing that you'd have to do is, for the people who charge their phones overnight, it'll install it automatically. If you don't charge your phone in overnight, you'll have to go in and manually download and install the software update. So if you are the person who charges their phone overnight, by all means, put this on. It's very helpful. Enable location services. Yes, you want to enable those, but the only thing is that later, once you set up your phone, you're going to want to go into the location services settings on your phone and set up specifically which apps and what services are using it. Highly recommend you do this because there's a lot of apps and services that use your location that you may not want to be using your location, or things that don't necessarily need it, but your app is just like, oh, we're going to use it anyway. I'll probably make a video at some point going over like the top 10, top 15 settings that are best for security, battery life. Those are probably videos I make in the future when I have time to research that and go through and find all of my favorite settings and stuff like that. But the next setting after my big long talk about security, the next setting here is set up your Apple Pay in your wallet. I use Apple Pay. I don't use it all that often right now because, of course, we're all in quarantine. We're not really allowed to be going out all that often. But it is a very nice feature in the iPhones and Apple Watches that I recommend setting up. If you have debit cards, credit cards, anything like that, highly recommend this. I don't have a credit card, and I'm not going to set it up right now. But you can. This is something that you can go in to the Wallet app and set up later. So we're just going to hit set up later in Wallet. Yeah, it'll load. Sometimes takes longer to load between settings because you're setting up an entirely new iPhone. Siri. I recommend having Siri on. It's a nice little virtual assistant. Hey Siri is nice, but it does really, it hogs your battery because it's constantly listening to what you're saying. It's constantly listening for the command, Hey Siri. So that's one of those things where you can have it on. It's a fun feature, but you don't absolutely need it on, and I suggest you don't have it on because A, it's more secure because it's not always listening to you, and B, it won't drain your battery as fast. Next one is improve Siri in dictation. Personally, I don't like sharing any data or analytics that I don't have to, so you would share your audio recordings with Apple so that they can improve Siri. I would suggest not now because I don't really want all of everything to go to Apple because it's just kind of weird. That's up to you. That's just my personal preference. You can do whatever you want, but I highly recommend you don't do that. Screen time. Yes, screen time is a really nice handy feature for A, if you have kids, B, if you like seeing what drains your battery, how much you're using each app for, how much time, stuff like that, and C, if you want to keep your friends in check. It's just a nice feature to have so you can see how you're using your phone, when you're using your phone, and what are you using most. So I keep that on because it's just nice to see what I'm using the most. It's just something to think about. It's up to you, ultimately. I'm just telling you how I like to set up my phone. Next one, analytics. Don't share your analytics with Apple. Don't do it. Main thing is security reasons. So they take all of the data that you store on your phone, all of your web browsing, all of your iCloud usage, all that, and it sends it off to Apple so that they can improve your phone. Hit don't share. It's up to you, but I highly recommend you don't share your analytics, both iCloud, Siri, phone, Apple Watch, whatever device you have. Don't share analytics. Here you would choose whether you want dark mode or light mode. I like dark mode. It looks cooler. It does actually save your battery. It's a lot easier on your eyes. I suggest dark mode, especially if you have a phone with black bezels. So like your space gray phones, your red iPhones, stuff like that. So here, hit get started. Here you can select how deep you want your home button to feel. So you would select it, you could press the button and be like, oh, maybe that's a little bit too shallow. Hit another one. Oh, that's nice. What does the third one feel like? You press the home button a few times. Oh, that's a little bit too deep. I don't quite like that. So you move it back to say 2. The standard it has it on is 2 because it's just kind of that happy medium between really shallow and really deep. Personally, 3 feels the most like a mechanical home button, and I love the feel of a mechanical home button. So if you really enjoy mechanical home buttons, I go with 3. If you want to feel like you're just pressing on a table for a home button, go with 1. I'm just going to go with 2. You can hit next once you select which one you want. Display zoom, you can look at what you want. If you have like vision problems and you need the display to be bigger, you can use the big one. It zooms everything in, makes everything a little bigger so you can see it nicer. I don't use that because I don't have major eye issues, so that's that. Hit get started, and it'll say welcome to iPhone. Okay, well, just shut off. And now you have your fully set up iPhone. Here you can go and tweak all your different little settings, so your sounds, your haptics, all of that. Once again, with dark mode and light mode, you can have it automatically turn on and off depending on the time of day. So that's really nice. So that's how to manually set up your phone. The next kind of section of the video will be how to set up your phone using the quick start guide. I'll dedicate the last kind of bit of this video to that. Let's move on to the next part.